Hi, everybody. My name is Donna Swanson, and I'm the co-founder and executive director of Focus Center for Autism and the Fresh Start School. And welcome to Life on the Spectrum. It's a show that we're doing quite often, and it's about our journeys through autism with some very special guests. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Focus. We've been in existence for 21 years, providing services to young kids as well as teenagers and adults. We have a therapeutic supportive housing program. We have a group home in Barkhamsted for kids with autism and trauma. And we also have apartments in Torrington for for young adults on the autism spectrum and also have trauma. And we provide awesome services, wouldn't you say so, Dan?
I would say that, yeah.
Yes, and we've really helped a lot of different kids with a lot of different issues, and that's something that makes us very, very, very proud. We do have a Facebook page, and we have a website. Those will be shown later on so that you can stay in touch with us, friend us on Facebook. We have a lot of good things that we tell you about. Dan, would you add anything?
No, I think you covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, I could go into the history and all that stuff about Focus, but really what we're here for is to hear about people's journeys. Mm-hmm. And today, as our very special guest, and we have Giovanni Martinez. And Gio, you're smiling. You've been with us how long?
4 years.
4 years. And I can't say that they've always been 4 happy years that you've been with us, but you do appreciate having been what program are you in?
Shannon House.
Yep, so you came 4 years ago, and it was, the reason why you came to the Shannon House was why?
I don't remember why.
Well, what did you need?
I needed help.
You needed help. And what did you need help with?
Like expressing my emotions more.
Yeah.
Because I had trouble with that.
You had trouble with emotions. How would you just keep them inside?
Yeah, I would bottle them up.
Yeah, and then what would happen?
It would just explode.
Yep. And when you explode, when your feelings explode, was it behavior or just verbal, or what was your big go-to when you were feeling like exploding?
I would break stuff.
You'd break stuff. Did you do that at Shannon House?
No.
See, I don't remember that at Shannon House, so that's why I'm checking in with you on some of this. So, because one of the things that Gio has said is that he's been on a lot of different of our unplugged autism spectrum unplugged panels, which you guys should all know about too. And what you really like, what is it that you say you like to do?
Transform life, sitting down.
Yeah, transforming lives sitting down. So that's what we're going to do today, right? That's what Life on the Spectrum we hope to do, is to give you more insight about what it's like to be on the spectrum. And as they say, there are no two people on the spectrum who are alike, and you'll see that by watching our show, that everybody's different. Now, Gio, believe it or not, one of your biggest issues is that nobody seems to understand that you're on the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So what is the problem with that, would you say?
They think I'm a normal person.
Yeah, and there's parts of you that are completely normal, but the things that you need help in are what?
What are they?
Well, you're kind of clamming up on me here, but and that's not like you. But you have trouble with social cues. What about your peers? Because you were in a regular high school, and how did your peers treat you?
Sometimes I would trust them too much, and it got me in trouble.
Yeah. And it got you in trouble in what ways? The peer pressure to try things, do things.
Yeah.
And you thought they were being good friends, right?
Yeah.
And you were trying to fit in?
Yeah.
And some of it didn't work out so well for you.
And was it feeling like you're kind of taken advantage of in those moments? Like you wanted to fit in with people, wanted to have friends, and then it turned out you got in trouble for things.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
I think one of the biggest problems is that he didn't even know he was being taken advantage of until things blew up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like one of the things, you got talked into trying something, a vape, and you ended up where?
In the hospital.
Yeah, and I know this is hard to talk about, but I think it's important for people to know is that you trusted these people, you tried something, they told you it was fine. Even though you knew you shouldn't be doing it, you never thought it would have that kind of effect, right?
Yeah.
So we're very lucky that you went to the hospital and you came back to us.
Has also been hard with when you get into trouble with things like that people in places of authority might think you might know better because you appear to some people like, oh, he's neurotypical. Why are you doing this? Where you might be having like other issues that you don't understand that situation. Is that something that you ran into?
A little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And people get confused because you have that smile, right? And it's such a great smile, but your smile has several meanings, correct?
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
One's my sad smile, one's my leave me alone smile, and one's my normal smile.
And what's the bad part is that they all look the same, right?
Yeah, you can only tell by my eyes.
You can only tell by your eyes. And we're not going to be able to tell by your eyes today because you got your hat on and your glasses on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your smile telling me right now?
I'm nervous.
You're nervous. Okay. And tell me when it changes, all right? When your feelings change. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say it's nervous. It's different being in front of a camera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your smile is what you're proud of him, right?
I'm very proud.
I can see that.
I'm very proud of him for being on here. And I've known you a little bit throughout these 4 years, but we're in different programs. But really, the past 2 weeks, getting to know you a lot better for being in our summer program. It's been great. So that's a real smile. I can tell that's a different.
Is that a different smile?
Yeah, that's a different smile with the eyes.
Yeah.
Because why is it a different smile?
Because I'm in a mentor program and I enjoy helping the kids.
Yep. And Dan, he was only going to he was only going to help on Mondays,
Yep.
and
then he kept asking us hey, I can do any day if you want. So then ended up right after that, it's every day, and he's been coming in, and he's been enjoying it. What's your favorite part been so far?
Just helping all the kids, learning their different personalities, learning what they're into.
And do you see when you're mentoring? Do you see the different faces that autism has? Because it has many different faces. So what do you see, and what are some of the ways that you see autism in the summer program?
Some have a harder time following directions, picture directions. Mm-hmm. Some of them have a harder time sitting still. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Things like those.
So and how do you think you've been helpful as a mentor?
By learning what they're into and trying to bring it into my helping them.
So you find out what they're interested in and then try to connect with them on that level.
Yeah.
And do you think you've been pretty successful?
I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
Yes. A good example is today we were doing Lego cars. I just saw you helping out the group, and you're in the leadership role. Just kind of the kids you were working with might have needed some direction about how to work on it, and you just kind of assumed that role, but naturally, but not taking over, right?
Yeah.
That's what I noticed with you is you were doing it, but saying, hey, can you do this part? Hey, so it wasn't just you doing everything. So I think you picked up on that. They might need some direction, so you helped with that. But do you think it would have been different if you were different kids? You would have been maybe they can do it on their own?
Yeah.
So you were able to kind of read these kids, but you also use yourself as a way, as a tool to help read, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of Legos, we know somebody right here between Dan and I who is a Lego master in some ways, and you have created some incredible Lego projects.
Yeah.
What's the one that my husband Fred, who's the other co-founder and one of your favorite fans, you showed him the one with the tower and the
haunted house.
The haunted house.
I spent over $750 on 3 Lego sets. One's a 1989 Batmobile. One's a mansion. It stands like that tall. And one's the Aston Martin DB5 from James Bond.
And when you say you spent $750, whose money was it? Was it mine?
No, it was my money.
That you had saved up and.
Yeah.
And
I'm working.
So you work hard. You've had jobs, and we'll get more into that. But you also are sort of an eclectic shopper. Do you know what eclectic means?
Yeah, like impulsive.
Well, not impulsive. Well, but you are impulsive. But you like a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this. You have quite a variety. Now, who's on your hat?
Goku. This is from Dragon Ball Super.
Okay, so that's one of your go-tos, right? Is Dragon Balls.
And
Yeah.
I would say you also have I've learned eclectic food interests. Like you're just like, I want to try everything. You're talking to me about like, oh, I had escargot the other week, right? You know?
Yeah.
That's good. You like to try stuff.
He does like to try stuff.
And it's a good point for people on the spectrum, like talking about how everyone's different. Is you'll hear a lot, oh, people on the spectrum only like to eat this specific types of food, and picky eaters, and a lot of people on the spectrum might be like that. But then you have someone like Gio, who will just snails, just give me snails, you know.
Okay, then he does weird things too,
Yeah.
like you'll put sriracha sauce on bologna and fry it up, right, or something. What's another weird thing that you do?
I eat cold broccoli cheddar soup.
Yeah, but he likes to try different things, and just sometimes it gets people a little freaked out what you like to do.
What's
right?
the best meal you've ever made? You've ever cooked?
Veal ossobuco tortelloni.
Can you explain what that is for everyone?
Could you say it slow so
yeah.
we can understand? Veal
Ossobuco tortelloni.
Okay.
Tortellini.
Okay, so what is it?
It's mushrooms, some veal with a nice white rind vinaigrette sauce.
And tortellinis, right?
Yeah, and tortellini.
Right. So, and you cook that?
Yeah.
Very
I like
cool.
to cook for myself, not other people.
But you do, as part of your job at Shannon House, you do have to cook for other people too, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you like to cook for other people?
Because they're too picky.
So you want to do your own thing.
Yeah.
You want to try stuff, but you don't. Yeah, that makes sense.
But also, you don't want to hear any negative feedback about it either, right?
Yeah.
Because you are sensitive. You sit here and have that big smile on you, but you are a sensitive little fella deep inside, right?
Well, not really, but
Yeah.
about some things.
Yeah.
Not a lot of things.
But you won't tell people if
Nope.
you're sensitive. But sometimes you will tell me or Fred some of your deeper stuff,
Yeah.
right? And why
There's
is
a few people.
There's a few chosen. And why is that, Gio?
Because I've been hurt a lot in my life, so I built up a bunch of walls, like inside, like internally.
I'm not sure if you should be moving so much. I'm just not sure what that does
Yeah.
to the
Mic,
the camera or the mic. But so you've been hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can you tell us in some ways, you don't have to go into vivid details, but like what are some of your hurts?
Like my birth mom, she wasn't really a good mom to me. She used to let me walk my dog in Philadelphia by myself. She tried to drown me a couple times, and just other stuff.
But you have somehow, and these are such painful memories. But you have forgiven your mom, or you just understand that she had problems. You haven't really forgiven her, but you understand that she had problems, big problems.
I kind of forgiven her, but not in my own way.
Okay. How's your own way?
It's hard to describe.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to go back to a point you said in one of our panels that I thought was really great. Was you talked about how you have the walls, but there's windows sometimes that you'll talk about stuff. Can you explain what you're?
So the windows are times I'm ready to talk, But like, if you don't catch me in that time, then you lost your opportunity.
And I think that's a really important point for everybody, is because that happens to most people, not just you. You know, but to understand that sometimes if people really don't want to talk about something, they're not going to talk about it.
Right.
So you have to find those windows when someone's ready. What helped you get to that realization? Like any types of therapy or?
Not really, just like myself, like learning like I need help, and it's not good to bottle it up.
And it's a slow process, right?
Yeah.
So when there is a window, do you let anybody know, or are we supposed to guess that the window's there?
I've been better about going down and like telling them like I'm ready to talk.
You have been better, and I also think that we as a program with you have gotten better at knowing that if we approach you when you not want to talk, when you're not ready, it's not going to happen anyway, and then you just build up, the wall goes up a little higher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad you remembered about the walls and the windows.
Yeah, it's stuck with me because it really made sense, and it really helped me frame it. Because like as a clinician too, it's really good for us to hear that, to know that, because sometimes we have to try to press to try to help. But if you're able to explain that to us, that helps us understand. So that's why it stuck with me.
So autism and trauma for you, the trauma was your early childhood. You still have, you do have family members that care about you very much, but it's just you're not able to live with them. You've been at Shannon House for 4 years, and we've gone through a lot together, a lot of really good stuff too, and a lot of worries because of who you are and how you are. You haven't been the easiest to get to. Those walls can be pretty thick.
Oh, yeah.
But I know that Fred and I really do appreciate the trust that you have given us, and the love that and respect that you give us, and to the program in general. And I think people at Shannon House know they try not to take it personally when you're not available. But you can also be a little passive aggressive sometimes. Right?
Yeah. I don't get physical. I get passive aggressive.
Right. Which is also very hard, right, on those that are around you, because when you're passive aggressive, can anybody move you? No. You are like a boulder in cement, right?
Yeah.
So then we have to learn. You haven't seen that part yet.
No, I haven't.
Right.
I've experienced a smiling Geo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, at Shannon House, that's where he lives.
Yep.
And that's what, right, that's where you're supposed to have your issues is, it's not easy living with other people.
And I'd say that's another important general point. Sometimes parents get concerned, they hear kids doing great at school, and why is it me, at home? It's where you feel more comfortable a lot of times.
Yeah, and also sometimes people really hold it together during the school day, and then when they finally get home,
That's when it breaks.
That's when when it breaks, when they can let it out. What is something that you would like to give people what is something that has helped you, that we've done that has helped you, or that you've done for yourself to help yourself being on the spectrum and the trauma?
So something I do is like over the years, like you learn that the past can't define you. You just got to move on and like be yourself.
And that can be difficult though, right?
Yeah.
Because it's something probably you have to keep telling yourself, because there's moments where you might not think that.
There'll be setbacks, but they go away.
The past doesn't define you, but it helps you become.
Helps create you.
It helps, challenges and hard times help us. I mean, if everything were happy all the time, there'd be next to no personal growth, probably, right?
Yeah.
Why, if you're happy, what are you going to do about it? Just stay happy. So, what advice would you give to people that's helpful? One you already said is to give space. Recognize when there's windows and when there's walls.
Yeah.
How does anybody find out about that smile? That smile right now is not a happy smile. I'm not feeling that it's that happy, is it?
No.
Because you're struggling to come up with an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're working it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so social cues are hard for you. How do you tell somebody to help with peers? How do you become more savvy, more in the know about peers? Because peers are pretty hard to read even for all of us. Never mind somebody with autism. How do you know if somebody's genuine? You have any advice for that?
No.
Do you have, Dan? Because this is where he gets.
It's hard because
into
it's the reading
trouble.
the social cues. It's because it also depends on the person. So that's really where a lot of people on the spectrum get into trouble, is knowing those body language signs that people who don't have issues with social cues can just naturally read. But not everybody. This happens to people who are neurotypical too. It's hard knowing who to trust, but I think it's especially hard for people on the spectrum. And we do social thinking classes, so I say that's helpful, just repetition, just understanding, because I always think of people on the spectrum, it's not that you can't learn or have the ability to read social cues, it's just kind of a little bit behind, and you can catch up and just try to learn those. It's just not natural. So I think it's just noticing those situations, practicing them, processing them, which is what you're doing now, right? You're kind of learning from your past, learning from those moments, and kind of understanding better.
How about the meditation and things that you guys have been doing?
The mindfulness,
mindfulness.
That helps you get more in touch with yourself, it seems. And you've really taken onto it, right?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes is it difficult?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I don't want to do meditation, I really don't want to do it.
Yeah, and that's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But when you do it, how does it help?
I like teaching it better because Dan's been my teacher for the meditation.
Yep. And then we started having him run. So I've been sending him some scripts that he leads with.
So you really like to be more in the helping position than in the position of being helped,
Yeah.
right? But do you still need help?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to be going. What's your new plan? You're going to be leaving Shannon House.
Yeah. I'm going to be going to Danbury soon.
And what are you going to be doing?
Automotive, because I went to school and I got 5 ASE certifications.
Say what that means.
Automotive Service Excellence.
So you're going to.
What can you work on?
I can work on electric in cars, engines, heating and cooling, brakes and suspension.
So he graduated from.
Bristol Tech.
Yep, and you've done great. Gio, you've overcome so many obstacles, and are you ever going to get rid of us? Even if you move? No. We want you to stay connected, and you're actually finding it. You couldn't wait to leave Shannon House, but it's going to be hard to leave too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're so proud of you, Gio, or Giovanni, whichever one you want, and Gio, and just so grateful. How hard was this to be on Nutmeg?
There's some parts I didn't like.
Why, you didn't think you did well enough?
No.
I asked too many questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what part of this deal is. So, and you do like to do panels and stuff, and so you like to be in person as well.
You have your fans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to thank everybody for joining us. Each of you had one last word to say?
I'm just happy that Gio gets the last summer with us in our program, and we get to know him a little better. And I think it's a good way for you to move on, but still stay connected. And I think it's really important, is how important connections are in community. And even if if you're not physically at Shannon House, you're still part of the focus community, and you're still connected. I think that was always helpful.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to say that you're also a volunteer firefighter.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, there's just so much that we could say about you. What's one last thought that you would like to have?
I enjoyed getting to know Dan over the summer break.
Mm-hmm.
And being a mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my appreciation is both of you being on here, and also being able to let you guys out there in the audience know what's going on and see the many faces of autism and the struggles that we have and the successes that we have. So please join us again for Life on the Spectrum, and we have more shows coming up to share with you. We love you, Gio.
You too, Donna.
All right. Thank you so much. Over and out.